is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back again with another live stream for you guys, and today is a very special day. It is the draw for the Champions League group stages for the new 2022-23 season. To see who we will face in the group stage, I have with me Sai, all the way from Portsmouth. How are we doing, Sai? You all right?
As always, my friend, very nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Looking forward to this. It's going to be very interesting. Very good to be back in the old bowl or the hat, whatever they call it these
You're not
days.
going to be destroying the studio today, as you have been famous
No, that's
for.
the beautiful thing. The last time I was here was the City game and the Leicester game, and
Well,
yeah,
if we draw
I've had the
Madrid, you're
bill.
not going to be smashing the place up.
No, I think I'll be quite calm with that. It's very exciting. So I will be sitting down here patiently, waiting for those balls to come out.
Exactly, definitely. And before we start, obviously the draw is going to be live in due course. They're just doing the old introductory business in UEFA. Sai has brought a flag, as you can see in the background. He's now sitting in front of it. You can move, if you move your mic. There you go. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful flag that Sai has brought in. Gimme. I don't know where you can get them from. Where do you get it from, Sai?
From all your very good huts outside the stadium on a Saturday. I think it was £10 or something.
It's a very nice flag.
It's actually pretty cool. I quite like it.
Pretty cool.
Adds to my collection.
So he's brought that into the studio today, so we can enjoy that. So there you go. Kulusevski's going to be watching over us as we see who we draw in the Champions League. Obviously, we'll let you know when the draw is getting underway, but let's just confirm the pots as things stand. So Tottenham are in pot 2, but pot 1 is Real Madrid, Eintracht Frankfurt, Man City, AC Milan, FC Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, FC Porto, and Ajax. They make up pot 1. Pot 2, we have Liverpool, Chelsea, Barcelona, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, Leipzig, and Spurs, seeing in pot 2. In pot 3, we have Dortmund, Salzburg, Shakhtar Donetsk, Inter Milan, Napoli, Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, and Bayer Leverkusen. And now, after yesterday confirming pot 4, we have Glasgow Rangers, Dynamo Zagreb, Marseille, FC Copenhagen, Club Brugge, Celtic, Victoria Pilsen, and Maccabi Haifa. You remember all that side? Because you're never going to hear it. You're going to get tested on that later.
I remember the first two.
The first two?
Yeah.
The first two teams or pots?
The first two teams. Yeah.
Very good. Sai, looking at those pots so far, if you take from pot 1, Madrid, Frankfurt, City, Milan, Bayern, Paris, Porto, Ajax, who would you want in pot 1? Who would be your most favourable team?
Out of that, I would feel perhaps Ajax, actually.
Trip to Amsterdam?
Yeah, there's that, and obviously the memories. I think it'd be a good game. That's not to say I wouldn't want one of the other teams.
They've lost a lot of their big players as well, Ajax.
They have. And I think we'd be in probably a bit of a strange situation in the sense that we've probably improved a lot in the last couple of years, whereas they have perhaps gone a bit stale. But yeah, the other teams...
Frankfurt, Europa League winners, would you fancy them? They've lost Kostic, one of their best players last season.
Yeah, I just feel like teams like that, we tend to either not turn up or something goes wrong. So I'm trying to avoid in my head that we just have not necessarily a plain sailing group, because I do like the challenge, but I wouldn't really want to particularly hit the big major ones immediately, like Real Madrid, for example. So for me, yeah, Ajax would be the pick out of that bunch, I think, personally. We'll just have to see.
Okay, looking at pot, obviously we're in pot 2, so we don't. I think we're the pick for pot 2 that you want. I would say. Pot 3, we have Dortmund, Salzburg from Austria, Shakhtar Donetsk, Conte's old team Inter Milan, Napoli, who now have Ndombele, Benfica, who have Jan Vertonghen, Sporting Lisbon, and Bayer Leverkusen. So look, that's a tough group tough group of teams there. I don't see a weak team there, but who would you like to face out of that group?
Well, for ease, probably I think it was Salzburg, wasn't it? The second one.
You say that they've got a conveyor belt of very good talent. A lot of talented players come from Salzburg. The likes of Erling Haaland have come from there, and
true.
Adeyemi and Aronson, the new boy from Leeds, he came from Salzburg. So I wouldn't say it would be easy. Huh?
I'm being taught a lesson here.
You are being taught a lesson, but not. But compared to the other teams, you'd probably say.
I tell you what, though, Sim. If I was to pick one for emotion and excitement, I would pick Inter Milan, just from that Conte's aspect. But the last two Inter Milan Spurs games I went to, we've won, I think, and they were both extremely good games. I want to go to the stadium rocking, and I want to go to potentially some away games as well, for some decent games. You know, that's the whole point of being in the Champions League, is to test yourself and trying to be the best you can be.
Yeah, it caused quite a story as well. Conte coming up against his old team, especially under all the circumstances. That would be quite the matchup. Obviously, Ndombele, I'm assuming, would be ineligible to come up against us if he.
Well, that'd be typical, wouldn't it?
I'd assume so. In fact, but I'm not. I wouldn't, because it's Europe. I wouldn't actually be 100% sure on that. But I'd assume he'd be ineligible. Although it would be very Spurs for Ndombele to be our undoing.
If anyone knows in the comments, chuck him in if you know the answer to that one. But yeah, I mean, obviously he scored yesterday, didn't he?
He did. A great goal.
Very appropriate that is, of course. But yeah, I think it'd be a good league for him. But yeah,
and a potential reunion with Jan Vertonghen on the cards if we draw Benfica as well, which would be nice. And a trip to Portugal, which I think we haven't played Benfica since 2014 when Chadley scored twice. I remember the Stadium Milan, we ended up getting beaten. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Pot 4, 2 Scottish teams in Rangers and Celtic potentially being played there. There's also Zagreb, who knocked us out of the Europa League under Jose Mourinho, so would probably want revenge for that. Copenhagen, Marseille, Club Brugge, Victoria Pilsen and Maccabi Haifa. Obviously, we played in the Haifa Stadium not so long ago, about a month ago. So that would be interesting to be back there, wouldn't it, if we did draw Haifa?
Yeah, I think, well, Haifa would be a personal choice just because I loved my trip there, all the things I saw. But yeah, I mean, I think personally, I would absolutely love to see one of the Scottish teams. I think that would be incredible atmospheres and incredible opportunity, especially Rangers being there for the first time in however long it was. I think that would be really special. But yeah, also Zagreb as well, because for me, like personally, whenever I've watched Spurs Zagreb in the past, I always have amazing memories at the old ground, flares and smoke, and it was absolutely brilliant. So yeah, there's a lot of atmospheric games there, in my opinion, and I think it's a difficult one to pick. I mean, like Haifa for various reasons, like probably more of a holiday actually, but yeah, Rangers would be or Celtic even would be a fantastic trip, because I've never actually been to Scotland either, so that'd be quite cool.
Good excuse to go.
Exactly.
Look, so being back in the Champions League now, Si, obviously is very exciting for all Spurs fans. It's been a 2-year kind of hiatus, if you call it, out of the Champions League. We're now back in it. And these are the ties we live for, isn't it? You know, these big ties against Madrid and Milan and Bayern and Paris Saint-Germain. What for you this season, what's your kind of expectation in the Champions League? What do you think we should be aiming for?
You know, I always over-exaggerate things, but I don't know. I think sometimes there's a bit of luck to it, isn't there? I mean, at the end of the day, in the past we've shown that we are capable of playing against those big teams. I know things are a bit different right now. We were at a different stage of team cohesiveness, if you like. We're still building that bridge of the new players and everything, but Conte's got this appeal to him, hasn't he? Like, in the sense of not just the winning mentality, but facing these kind of situations. I think this is a really big point over some of the other managers and teams out there. Obviously, you've got, Man City are going to be extremely strong this year. They've redeveloped their team. Haaland's going to be up for this Champions League, so it's going to be difficult. I could see City going all the way, to be honest. But for me, I think Spurs. I'd be really impressed to get to at least the quarter-final, but yeah, as I always say, with my hand and my heart say two different things. My head says that we would get to maybe a potential semi-final again, with some of the other teams maybe dipping slightly, and my heart always says we're going to the final and win it. I know a couple of people out there. One of them knows who he is in our usual Spurs group. He's already booked hotels for Istanbul.
For the final.
Absolute confidence right there. But yeah. I think it's going to be a big run for us. I think Conte won't accept any kind of downplay of it. I think he's going to be up for it. He'll want us to go as far as possible. And I think that's going to be taking us to new realms.
Yeah, I agree. And it's going to be a massive challenge for Conte to balance both competitions. And notoriously, he hasn't really had much success in balancing domestic competition and Champions League. Conte has actually never gotten past the quarter-final in a Champions League season. And actually, with Inter Milan, he got knocked out of the group stages, I think, once. At Juventus, a couple times he was knocked out of the groups and didn't make the quarter-final. At Chelsea, I think he lost to Barcelona in the round of 16. Does his record in the Champions League worry you a bit? Do you think that it's something to be concerned about? Or do you think maybe there's just circumstances at other clubs that led to it and there's nothing, and maybe with Tottenham it could be different? Do you think we have the squad to compete on both fronts?
I think the squad still needs a bit of additional work being done to it, to be honest. I think we've got a good structure of better bench now from the last few seasons, so I think that'll play its part. But as I said earlier, I think some of these group games, particularly, and Champions League in general, sometimes it is also about a bit of luck, So I think it is going to be a mix. I think we have to take advantage of the home aspect massively. We always have a big atmosphere at the Spurs Stadium, and particularly Champions League. The last time I was there for Champions League games was absolutely incredible, like the build-up, the atmosphere, the noise. So I think that will play a big part. That will be crucial for getting the 3 points in the tables, as it were. So, yeah, I think there's a bit of a mix. You can't really delve too much into, records as such. I think the managers are extremely professional and to an elite status, especially Conte, to not have to worry about that kind of thing. Look at Man City. Look how much money they've spent. Look at the team they have, and they can't seem to take themselves across the line, can they? And I think. But
what do you put it down? What do you think it's down to why Conte doesn't have the best record in Europe? Do you think there's any specific reason, or?
I just think it's the moment, isn't it? I always liked Jose's philosophy about games. It's like in particular, if you're getting to the knockout stages and you're thinking about one specific moment, any minute mistake can be horrendous. Whereas in the Premier League, you've got many more games to re-encourage yourselves and change things. The Champions League is very different. It's the group stage, you could probably get away with making a couple of mistakes or maybe one or two poor results. But I think that Conte's mentality in the Tottenham team right now is obviously drilled ahead. We're not playing amazingly well at the moment, but that's a positive in my mind, and I think that we can do wonders. But again, some teams perform better in Europe than they do in the league, and vice versa. And it's about the tools. It's about not necessarily the history and what's happened to you before. I think, like I say, Conte's an elite manager. He won't really be thinking about, I need to get over this situation of stipulations or whatever the word is. So I'm not too concerned.
It's just his reputation, I guess. It's in the sense he's got this reputation now for being poor in the Champions League, and I wonder if that will play on his mind later on in the season. If we are, competing for top four and going in the Champions League, if he'll, prioritize one and think, I need to. I need to have a better perception in the Champions League and stuff. And imagine if he gets a semi-final with Spurs, that'll definitely go a long way to people seeing him differently. Because he did get to Europa League final with Inter Milan, and unfortunately lost. I think he got edged out 3-2 in the final with Inter Milan.
I think we've got a strong team, Sim. I do think it needs more depth for us to conclude ourselves in 3 or 4 competitions simultaneously. I think, like you say, down the road, it could be a question whether that's a club target or Conte's target to go, actually, I don't think we're going to sustain this with what we've got. And it might have to change. But you can only go by what's happening in the moment and what's in front of you. And I'm feeling confident. Well, maybe that will change when I see the groups that are picked. But, I have confidence in Conte and this team. We've got experience, some of this team that we've got now has massive experience in Champions League and
Making
European
finals.
football now. Do you know what I mean? And there is in the background of half of that team at least about that final. They want to put things right, and we haven't had the chance to in the last couple of seasons because obviously the pandemic and other situations, and not being in the Champions League obviously doesn't help. There's a big opportunity for us to put things right and take it to another level.
Yeah, a lot has changed since we were last in the Champions League, which was actually under Jose Mourinho, and we were absolutely battered by Leipzig over 2 legs last time in the Champions League. But you know, it wasn't that long ago that we made a final. It was about 3 years ago now that Spurs were in a Champions League final, and you know, taking our run into account and how miraculous it was at the time. Do you think that the players will take a lot from that experience and hopefully use that in this?
I do
this
think
season?
so. I think so, and especially the experienced and the older players. You know, talking about like Hugo and Kane, especially, and Son was a bit part in some of that run. And there's a few players, obviously, that we haven't mentioned. And I think that's going to play on their minds for sure. They want to go as far as they can, but I guess they probably won't be thinking about those particular elements in their mind until the latter stages, if we get to there. I think right now it's about focusing on getting through these stages. We don't know the teams yet. It could be an extremely the group of death, as they call it. Who knows? But they'll take it bit by bit. But I think if we start getting to the last 16 and the quarters, it will start playing in their minds that we want to push this, because there might not be many more years left for some of these incredible players that we've had service-wise over the last 5 years or longer. It's their time. We have to win something with this team. We missed a big chance with an incredibly talented team 3-4 years ago. Now it's rebuilding, but we still have a big structure still there. It's in our court essentially, but there's the teams around us in these groups that you just mentioned have been strengthening themselves, and there's some under the radar ones like you've mentioned with Salzburg. Obviously, I didn't realise about the way they've been building and everything. So it's going to be tough. This is probably the strongest Champions League there has been for a long, long time.
All right. Well, look, it looks like the draw is actually about to be upon us. So it is moments away. I think they're starting to introduce the structure of the draw. We have actually got our own little bag of balls going on here.
The impressive thing will be is if we pick the right numbers out.
Exactly. So I think we're going to pick it simultaneously. One, you pick what... Well, you have to do a practice round.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Well,
80.
I thought this one was a blank one. No, it's 80.
80.
Yeah.
That
Do we have
is-
80 teams?
80 is AC Milan. Well done. We'll see.
We'll have to see.
All right, we're going to have to
This
draw.
is a lucky ball.
All right. So I think how it goes is they draw the team and they make a draw for what group they're going to be in. So I think pot one's obviously they're going to start. It looks like they're getting underway now. Oh, is it an advert? Oh, all right. You're gonna have to bear with. I think. I know it's not an advert. I think there's. Let me get one sec. They start. Yeah, here we go. So the draw is about to start, people. All right. And we will be with you every step of the way. I think pot one is going to be drawn out shortly. How do you see the group stages going, Si? Because, we've had a mixed bag when it comes to group stages. I remember the first time we were playing all our games in Wembley.
Yeah.
And we got knocked out. We lost to Monaco. We lost to Leverkusen. And the next time we had the group of death against Real Madrid and Dortmund. And then we absolutely knocked out the park.
Yeah.
And then the next time we needed a last-minute goal from Lucas Moura to make it through. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gone through. So do you see Spurs... I mean, obviously, it's tough to know before we know the groups, but do you envisage where we are as a team? Do you think we could have a decent time of it in the group stages?
Yeah, I think so. Again, it's a bit of a mix still, isn't it? It's about the strength of our team. I don't really doubt the quality of our team. We've got incredible players, but also I think the experience is going to play a huge factor. Hugo needs to step up as the captain, of course, and as the leader. And his experience that he's had in the Champions League, as do Kane, everyone. But there's a few players that we got in the summer that haven't perhaps had that Champions League experience, but are fighting and really raring to go in it. So it's quite an exciting mix in our team right now. And particularly with Conte, who wants to try and win wherever possible. This could be a good chemistry all around. So I think the group stages, as you say, we don't know what's coming out, but as in my mind, always have maybe we want the easier teams, but actually I feel like we might thrive on the more important fixtures.
I feel like sometimes when we're the underdog, that's when we really come alive.
Absolutely.
I think in our history, that's what we've shown. Whenever it's very Spursy to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory in an easy game like Zagreb or something when we're 2-0 up. Yeah, when we go, to Madrid, we've beaten them 3-1 at Wembley, or playing Man City, things like that in the Champions League and making it through. That's when we've really thrived. That's when we've had our best displays. Even under Conte, our best displays coming away at the Etihad and going to Anfield and getting the draw and things like that. So a part of me feels like even if we get a really tough draw, I think we'll thrive off that energy.
And despite our team still building and figuring itself out, I remember back to Spurs Juventus. I think it was at Wembley, and I remember watching from the top. And literally, it was a stalemate at the time. And I just remember Conte putting 2 players on. In fact, I think it might have been Dybala that came on. And the entire formation of the team structure changed, and Pochettino didn't change anything. And I think, looking back at that, it was so incredible to watch something so simple. And we didn't react. And then they scored 2 goals within 5 minutes. So this is what the Champions League's about, is making definitive situations like that can change everything. So every game has to be taken as it comes. It's about the moment. It's about the moment. Each game is so different to any other.
All right, we're still going through some logistics for the draw, but pot 1 is upon us. It looks like they're just naming the teams of pot 1 before they make the draw. So that'll be a minute or two. Talking about Conte's record in Champions League, obviously, look, he's a brilliant manager who has a phenomenal record domestically. I think, was it 5 league titles in total? Might be more than that. No, 5 league titles in total. But when people are comparing him to the likes of Guardiola and Klopp and Ancelotti, and do you think that Champions League trophy, that the fact that it's eluded him, is that holding him back from maybe being in that same conversation, or do you think he already is in that same conversation?
I think he's already in that conversation for sure. He's proven over the last 10 years that the incredible manager that he is.
So you don't think it can hold that against him, that he hasn't won a Champions League?
No, I don't think so to an extent. I mean, as I said, the Champions League is so difficult. It's probably a similar principle of the Premier League in general right now. We've now got with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 major teams, the rest of them it's a free for all almost this year.
Yeah,
it's the same with the Champions League. You have one opportunity a year to try and win it. So it is, of course, very difficult.
I hear that, and maybe at the end of his career, if he still hasn't won one, maybe that's a conversation. But at the moment, I still think you can't. That his record is so good, I don't think you can hold it against him.
Absolutely.
All right, I think Yaya Toure, by the way, is doing the draw. Who's a Tottenham coach? Go on, Si, get your hands in. Get your hand in amongst it. Yeah, go on. Get your hand in amongst it.
I'm faster than Yaya, that's for sure.
All right, the first team is going to be drawn out. The first name is Ajax.
Okay.
All right. And what group are they going to be in?
Edwin van der Sar. Looking good for his age.
And obviously you can see we're going to update the live draw table right on in front of you as the draw happens. And this will be in group.
No, they're in A.
No, they're not. Oh, no, you're right.
So
Yeah, they're in Group A. Sorry. Next team is Porto. So Ajax are in Group A.
Who's in B? Porto.
What's that? B, yeah. Porto are in Group B. So Ajax are in Group A, Porto in Group B. Next team. This is the less interesting portion of the draw, I would say. Just naming teams at the moment. Just confirming they are in the Champions League this season. Next team is FC Bayern Munich. And they are in Group C. Yeah, Group C. Group C?
Yeah, then D, then E, then E.
Not necessarily. They have to confirm it.
Okay.
FC Bayern Munich are in Group C. Next one. So Group A is looking like a decent group to be in at the moment.
Yeah, Ajax would be a great
That'd be
fixture.
nice. Frankfurt. Yeah. Open Group D. Just get a draw. Just get the feeling of a draw
Someone's
happening.
the first one actually.
You can get it. You can get the. You get. We can
Yeah, bit-
recreate
bit
the
of
noise.
ambience.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. A bit of ambience. Let's pick it.
Here we go.
All right, who we got
Take your
here?
time.
AC Milan. Maybe Torre can do us a favour, seeing as he's our coach now.
Of course, we had some great fixtures with AC Milan over the years as well.
Yeah, 100%. Group E.
The old Gattuso. What was that? Probably 10, 11 years ago now. Crazy.
All right, next team. Who we have? Who
Well, I
do
think
we
we'd
got?
be a darn sight faster
have?
than this lot, that's for sure.
Real Madrid. Real Madrid. 58 is Real Madrid side.
58. Real
58
Madrid.
is Real Madrid. All
How many
right,
teams,
Real
how many
Madrid.
balls have we got in there?
Huh?
How many balls have we got in
We
there?
have a lot. A lot more than 32.
The last
But
two.
amazingly, each team, you'll pull it out and it'll represent the same team. It's amazing. Next one, we have number 94, which is Man City. Man City is 94. So Group G is Man City. So we can't get Group G because Man City are in there. And next, and the last team's a complete pot. No, is this completing pot 2? Pot 1, I mean? Yeah, this is complete pot 1. And this is obviously PSG. Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously, the club of Lionel Messi, no longer having Pochettino at the helm. Paris Saint-Germain. They're a bit like Man City. They always seem to find a way to fail, don't they, PSG,
Yeah.
in the knockouts.
Very strange, considering the amount of money and the talent pool that they've got.
I wonder where Pochettino's going to go. All right, pot 2 is going to be up next.
Is it doing ABC?
I don't think so, because I don't think I can do it that way. Because
Well, he's going to try.
he's going to try, yeah. All right, so the teams in pot 2 now are Liverpool, Chelsea, Barcelona, Juventus, Atletico Madrid, Sevilla, Leipzig, and Tottenham Hotspur. They're going to be in pot
First one's
2.
definitely gonna be
Most, yeah.
out. Has to.
All right, it's a very tough look. That's a tough looking pot 2. Very tough. Not a bad team there. So pot A we're looking for, no, Si?
Yeah,
Pot
I
A
think,
is
as
Ajax.
I said earlier, I think I quite like the Ajax replica fixture, but
What
Yeah.
are we looking to avoid? Pot C potentially Bayern Munich. Pot F Real Madrid. I wouldn't mind PSG, to be honest. I kind of feel like a glamour tie against PSG.
see again with Bayern though, I would like some retaliation to that
Well, they're
awful.
7-2.
I left at 5-2, and I thought that was bad enough.
All right, pot 2. I think are they about to draw? Yep, Yaya Toure. Here we go. Pot 2 coming up. You getting ready?
Here we go.
Tottenham going to be drawn. Yaya Toure opening up the ball. Riveting stuff.
Takes so long, doesn't it?
He has to unfold the piece of paper. And it's Leipzig.
That'd be a very good fixture, that one, actually.
Leipzig, and they go into... They can only go into E, F, G, or H. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They can only go into E, F, G, or H. Probably because they can't be in the same side as Bayern, maybe.
But Ajax.
And so
Oh, God, they've
they'll
got
be in
different rules for
groups.
this as
Yeah,
well.
they have to do
Wow.
the group now. Hamit Altintop doing this group draw. Do you remember him?
I remember the name.
They'll be in Group F. So they'll be with Real Madrid. Real Madrid and RB Leipzig in Group F. RB Leipzig finishing in the top 3 in the Bundesliga last season. All right, next one. Tottenham could be any moment now. And it is Juventus. Juventus next out. They can
can't
only
be
be
in
in G
either.
or H, it says.
Wow.
They can only be in G or H. So either with PSG or with Man City. Not bad, although Juventus have fallen off a bit recently.
Yes, lost quite a few players. Mentioning 2 with us now.
Exactly.
Of course, Dybala
They're
now
missing
gone.
him. They're missing that guy, that's for sure. Group H. So PSG with Juventus. PSG and Juventus in the same group. If only Ronaldo was still at Juve, you would have a Messi versus Ronaldo tie. Juventus, though, finishing 4th last season in Serie A. Not the best season for them. But now with Vlahovic, maybe can have renewed
Very
hope.
true.
Next team, we have Yaya Touré's pulled it out, and it is it Tottenham Hotspur? All right, here we go.
At this rate, I might have picked the group.
All right,
Already.
Spurs. We're in A, B, C, or D. So Ajax, Porto, Bayern,
okay.
or Frankfurt. So as long as we avoid C, we're pretty good here.
Give us
and
A.
E. We can also get E as well.
Give us A.
We can also get E as well with AC Milan. We want to avoid Group C, which is Bayern Munich.
Here he goes.
Come on, Group A. It is Group D, Frankfurt. Eintracht Frankfurt. We have done well there, I think. Gary
Yeah.
Mabbott, showing him on screen as our Tottenham representative in the the draw in Switzerland. So Spurs will be playing Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League next season in the group stage.
Awesome.
That's probably couldn't have wished for a better pot 1 team to face.
Yeah. Very good start to the group selection for us. I
Yeah,
think.
very good start. Liverpool up next.
Yeah, give
Obviously,
that-
Europa League winners
give them
last
C.
season, Frankfurt.
Yes.
They did win Europa League. However, they have now lost Kostic, who's gone to Juventus, and he was a big player for them
Big
last
player.
season.
Massive.
So how they will respond to that is going to be interesting. And they did finish, I think, 9th in the Bundesliga
Yeah, these are
last
still
season.
difficult places to
But
go to.
Eintracht
regardless.
Frankfurt in our group. Liverpool will be playing Ajax in Group A.
I'll tell you what, that'll be a good fixture, actually, to be there.
Eintracht Frankfurt is a stadium I've never been to as well, so definitely one I'm
Yeah,
looking
for
forward
sure.
to going to, that's for sure. Yaya Toure now with the next team. Definitely people are going to be saying we got lucky with Frankfurt, that's for sure. But definitely happy we got there
I think
now.
the
all
other
the
side
other
of
teams.
North London will be
Yeah, definitely.
complaining about that.
Sevilla now. I mean, considering we've got a team in pot 1 in the Champions League who finished mid-table in Bundesliga, that's pretty good going. You can't really ask for much more than that. Sevilla now. They are in. Sevilla will be in Group G, which is Man City. Man City and Sevilla in the same group. Next one. We've got 3 teams left. We got Chelsea still left. We got Barcelona and Atletico Madrid still to come. Next up, we have Barcelona. The biggest spenders for a team with no money, Barcelona. They'll either be in B or C, Porto or Bayern Munich. So what group's the group of death at the moment? Probably Group H, PSG and Juventus.
Certainly the
Unless,
strongest of the.
if this is
lot
Group
so
C,
far.
Bayern and Barca are in the same group. And it is Group C. So Bayern and Barca will be in the same group for this for the season. I think they, if I remember rightly, they were in the same group last season with Bayern winning 3-0 in both games last season, which was not great for Barcelona. They got knocked down the group stages last season.
Oliver Kahn there from yesteryear.
Let's see. One more team. Oh, one of the balls has gone. Got it here. Chelsea with either Porto or AC Milan. Oh no, they have to go with Porto. Of course they have to go with Porto. Of course. They play Porto every bloody season, Chelsea, I swear. Oh no, they're playing with Milan. I got that wrong. Group E. Chelsea and AC Milan.
I'm sure the Chelsea fans will like that trip.
Chelsea will be playing AC Milan. That's a tough draw for them. Not easy. And last team has to be Atletico Madrid, and they're going to go with Porto. All right, Porto with Atletico Madrid. So running through the draw again so far, we have Ajax and Liverpool in Group A, Porto and Atletico in Group B, Bayern and Barca in Group C, Frankfurt and Tottenham in Group D, AC Milan and Chelsea in Group E, Madrid and Leipzig in Group F, City and Sevilla in Group G, and PSG and Juventus in Group H. Some tasty ties in the so far, but it can look Frankfurt couldn't have gone much better for us, could it, Si? In terms of a pot one team that we could have faced. I mean, all the top teams in the world were facing Frankfurt because they won the Europa League last season.
That's right. I think it's a good start for sure. I think another thing as well is the teams that are being picked in the other groups. This is obviously in a potential frame now to lose a couple of those in the group stage as well. We'll have to see. Because it doesn't always go the way that just because they're the two strongest teams, they go straight through.
Very true.
Big games there. Difficult games for everyone.
Amongst the signings this summer for Eintracht Frankfurt is one Mario Götze from PSV, who obviously scored the winner in the World Cup back in 2014. He's been a new signing, but they have lost the likes of Filip Kostic, Danny Da Costa, Martin Hinteregger. So they've lost quite Steven Zuber. So they've lost quite a few players this summer, Frankfurt. I'm not sure how they've started the season as well. Pot 3 is about to be upon us as well, so we'll bring that to you imminently. Let's see how they've got on so far. Frankfurt. They've played 3 games, haven't won any, drawn 2, lost 1 in the start of the season. Currently 15th in Bundesliga. All right, pot 3. We're about to be drawn. We got Dortmund, Salzburg, Shakhtar, Inter, Napoli, Benfica, Sporting or Leverkusen. First team out is Yaya Touré's getting the ball out. And we have Napoli, Tanguy Ndombele's new team. Napoli would be quite poetic if we get drawn them in our group. It has to be A, B, C or D, so it could be they could get drawn into our group. I don't know if Ndombele can play if they are drawn against us. I do think European loans is a bit different, so I think he might be eligible.
I have a feeling he is. Yeah.
But let's see. The group is A, so they're going to be Ajax, Liverpool and Napoli. I feel like Liverpool play Napoli quite a bit as well. I feel like they've played them a few times.
They have, yeah.
Recently.
I remember Sarri.
Up at Anfield.
Yeah, and Liverpool, yeah.
All right, so Ajax, Liverpool and Napoli in Group A. Next up, we have... They're just getting the name out. Salzburg of Austria. The talent machines. They could go into any group. I don't know why. I don't know how this works, but they can go into any group.
Yeah. This is the one I was asking for us.
They can
to
go
have in
to
our
B,
group.
C, D, or E, F, G, H. So any group. Would you take Salzburg?
Yeah, it's not a place
D?
I've ever been to.
Austria. Wouldn't
That's
mind,
my
yeah,
only
wouldn't mind
reason.
going to Austria, I guess.
Yeah.
Salzburg. They're going into group. Could be any group. And they're going into group. Alton Top's just getting it open. E, which is Chelsea, AC Milan, Chelsea, and Salzburg. AC Milan, Chelsea, and Salzburg.
They seem
in Group
quietly
E.
confident, Salzburg officials there. Come on, Yaya.
Come on, people,
Hurry it up
get
a
your
bit.
predictions in. Who's going to be in our group? Who's going to be in Group D? Next one, Benfica of Portugal.
Super
Jan
Jan.
Vertonghen's team. Benfica. Obviously losing Darwin Núñez this summer as well to Liverpool. They can only go into F, G, or H, so they can't go into our group. They can only go into F, G, or H. So we can't. I don't know, why can't we get Benfica? I don't understand it, but we can't. All right, H, which is PSG, Juventus, and Benfica. So those are the three there. PSG, Juventus, and Benfica in what is a quite tasty group in Group H. Now, next in the draw, Fox on Hill Print says this draw seems rigged. All right, we got Dortmund. Borussia Dortmund. They can only go into Group G. Obviously, we have Frankfurt already in our group,
Yep.
so we can't have another German team. Only G. They're going into Man City and Sevilla's group.
Dortmund are always a fantastic Champions League team.
Yeah, they're always a lot of fun, aren't they, Borussia Dortmund? So Man City plays Sevilla and Dortmund. Oh, not the easiest group, although you still expect City to swap them aside. All right, next group. We still got Inter Milan in play, don't we? Bayer Leverkusen, again, we can't get them because we already have a German team. They can only go into Group B, I think, it looks like. Yeah, Group B. They can only go into Porto and Atletico Madrid's group, apparently. So they will be going in there. So that'll be Porto, Atletico, and Madrid, and Bayer Leverkusen.
They're rubbing their hands with
That's
excitement.
not the.
there.
That's probably one of the easier groups so far. All right, next up, Yaya Toure is there with the next ball. Sporting Lisbon is the next team. Just lost their star player, Matthias Nunes, who's gone to Wolves. They can go into D, E, or F. No, C, D, or E. C, D, or F. C, D, or F. They can go into C, D, or F.
Oh.
So that we can get them. We can get Sporting Lisbon. Come on, give us Lisbon. Give us Lisbon. We've got Lisbon.
Nice. I like that.
Frankfurt and Lisbon.
I haven't been to Portugal either.
Spurs.
Lovely. Might be a bit cold.
Some people, I'm hearing some people saying Spurs have got a Europa League draw here. We got Frankfurt and Lisbon in our group. That is a fantastic group so far.
Yeah, I think
And Lisbon as well is a great city to go to.
For sure.
Absolutely brilliant city.
I think our home advantage will play a big part here as well.
All right, Tottenham will be playing Sporting Lisbon as the other team in our group. Unbelievable stuff.
Brilliant.
Couldn't have asked for a better group so far, really. Very, very good. And Shakhtar Donetsk have gone into Group F with Madrid and Leipzig. So Shakhtar Donetsk have gone into that group. So Madrid, Leipzig, and Shakhtar. To be fair, Madrid having quite an easy group. Inter Milan now, I think, they're the last team. Yeah, they can only go into Group C with Bayern and Barcelona.
a
What a
big
group
one,
that
isn't
is.
it? Wow.
What a group that is.
Wow.
Bayern, Barca, and Inter Milan. All right,
Brilliant.
that concludes the group pot 3 draw. And just before we move on, obviously I've got no control of whether we move on because we're deciding on the draw. But because we're watching the draw on BT, but 3,000 viewers, 300 likes, people. Let's get it to 1,000 likes.
go.
We've just got Frankfurt and Sporting Lisbon in our Champions League group. It cannot have gone any better. But I really would appreciate if you guys like to scroll down and like the stream. It really does help with the algorithms, and it really does help support the channel and helps us be seen as well. If you're enjoying watching the draw with Sai and I, that was hard to say, but please do scroll down and hit the like button. I really would appreciate it.
Massive.
Sai,
Great.
Sporting Lisbon. Brilliant, a fantastic draw, isn't it?
Yeah, so far absolutely brilliant. Yeah, like I said earlier, I think it would be nice to have, for different reasons, different kind of teams. But actually, now when this has happened, you look at the overall structure of the group so far. It's actually, I wouldn't say it's easy. Nothing's easy, but like I think if you had a preference of the least hardest routes, that would probably be one of the best groups to have picked. So.
Last season for Sporting Lisbon, they finished runners up in the Portuguese league to I think FC Porto. They lost 5-0 on aggregate to Man City in the round of 16 last season. They're currently ranked 28th in the UEFA coefficient rankings. So I mean, you got to be pretty happy with that, you have to say.
Yeah.
Them and Frankfurt, who last season finished mid-table in Bundesliga, although they did win the Europa League, to be fair. Pot 4 now, last of the pots, and we will be seeing the completion of the group. We got Rangers, Zagreb, Marseille, Copenhagen, Club Brugge, Celtic, Victoria Pilsen, or Haifa. Let's see who Spurs can get.
Here we go.
Celtic. Glasgow Celtic is the next team out. They can go into any group. They for some reason they can go into any group. Let's go.
Changing the rules as we go along.
Yeah, I'm not
Brilliant.
sure who choose. I don't know how it works, but they can go into any group.
Oh,
They're just getting the
balls
balls
have been
ready.
picked.
We got a super chat here before we see what group Celtic are going in. It says from Real Nate 7 says excited about the Sporting draw. They have been pumping out some talented players, so it'll be a good scouting opportunity for us. All right, I think you're right there, Real Nate. Next up, so Celtic are growing into Group F. Group F, which is Madrid, Leipzig, and Shakhtar. What a
They're
draw for
going
them.
to love that.
Going to Celtic
brilliant.
on off to Real Madrid.
Fantastic.
Cody Mack with the members chat says, this is brilliant. No easy games in Champions League, but let's be honest, that is a soft group. Maybe Winks will get some game time. Cheers. Big up to you, Cody Mack. We've still got another team to go, Cody, so don't get too comfortable. Next up, we have in group... Sorry, we've got Marseille. Was a team, sorry, Marseille. They can go into group A, B, C, or D, so they can be in Tottenham's group. Wouldn't mind Marseille.
No.
I wouldn't mind Marseille. Dimitri Payet, though, a very good player for them. Although they've just looks like they've just lost Milik to Juventus, so their star striker is on their way to Italy. It looks like, but Marseille are going to be in group. What group are they in? D. And that completes our group.
Nice.
We have Marseille in Group D. So our group is
They don't look very
Frankfurt,
happy.
Tottenham, Sporting Lisbon, and Olympic Marseille. That is the group for Tottenham. I would say probably one of the harder pot 4 teams we've gotten.
Yeah.
But I think all in all, a pretty good group from by all stretch of the imagination for Tottenham. Marseille have come into our group, so that completes Tottenham's group. Next up, we got FC Copenhagen, and they can go into any of the remaining groups. Marseille. Marseille last season finished second in Ligue 1. They got to Europa. They finished third place in the Europa League group stages and got to the semi-finals of the Conference League last season, Marseille, and currently ranked 38th in UEFA coefficients. So that's the team we are going to be facing. Copenhagen go into Group G with Man City, I believe. So Man City, Sevilla, who's that? Dortmund and Copenhagen. Man City, Sevilla, Dortmund, Copenhagen. Michael Hellman says, brilliant, up the Spurs. Big up to you. I'm pretty happy with the draw. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you. All right, Club Bruges. Next up from Belgium. Who are they going to be playing? They can go into any group as well. Any of the remaining groups. So they're just getting the balls ready. Alex852 says, my ex as a Celtic fan would have loved us to pump them. Oh God. All right, next up. Into Group B. Into Group B. That was Club Bruges. So Porto, Atletico, Bayer Leverkusen and Club Bruges. That was probably also one of the groups to be in, but we're in Group D, which is fine by me.
Yeah, it's a nice mix. I like in these groups. Very nice mix.
Yeah, some nice cities to travel to as well. Marseille, Lisbon and Frankfurt. Some nice cities there.
Brilliant.
Really nice cities. Next up in the draw, or Glasgow Rangers. We have Glasgow Rangers. They can only go in A or C. So either with Liverpool, Ajax and Napoli, or with Bayern, Barcelona and Inter.
Yeah, I'd like to see one of the Scottish teams.
Well, Rangers,
sure. It'd be really cool.
they're probably, those are two very hard groups, whatever one they go in. So it's going to be very difficult for them to qualify.
Lovely.
But they are going into Group A. Ajax, Liverpool and Napoli with
Rangers. Absolutely brilliant.
Liverpool Rangers will be a fantastic tie.
What a great fixture.
Do you reckon they qualify from that group? Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli, Rangers?
It's going to be very difficult. Very difficult.
I reckon they can, actually.
But you know what?
I reckon they can.
Yeah, I think the energy of them
because I think
massive.
Napoli and Ajax are not as good as they used to be.
Famous last words.
Yeah, famous last words. But Rangers, I think they've given themselves a fighting chance by being in that group compared to the other one. Dynamo Zagreb, who famously knocked Tottenham out of the Europa League 2 years ago with an Orsic hat-trick. I still have nightmares about that game.
Great fans.
They can go into C, E or H. They do.
Fans.
They do. C, E or H for Zagreb. Let's see what they're going where they're going to go in. All right. Group E, which is Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg. And they go into that group.
They're happy with that.
Pretty happy with that.
They're like,
Dynamo
oh yeah,
Zagreb,
we're going on holiday there. Brilliant.
probably looking for a Europa League spot in that group. I don't know if they can oust Chelsea or AC Milan. It's going to be very difficult. Next up, we have the penultimate team of this Champions League draw, Maccabi Haifa. Maccabi Haifa can either, they're going into Group H or Group C. So either with Bayern, Barca, or Inter, or with PSG, Juventus, or Benfica. So either way, they're pretty screwed, I have to say. But which one is it going to be? They did very well to get to this stage, Haifa. So they're going to have a glamour tie either way. Group H, so PSG, Juventus, Benfica, and Maccabi Haifa in Group H. A bit of a smile there by a Haifa representative. And last but not least, last team,
The last ball.
and Victoria Plzen from Czech Republic. They will be with Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and Inter Milan.
That's
All
a
right.
big honour for them to be in the Champions League as well. Very good.
One sec. Okay. So that completes the draw, people.
Wow.
That completes the draw for the 2022-23 Champions League season. We have in Group A, Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli and Rangers. Group B, Porto, Atletico Madrid, Bayer Leverkusen and Club Brugge. Group C, Munich, Barcelona, Inter Milan and Victoria Pilsen of Czech Republic. Group D, Tottenham's group, we have Frankfurt, Tottenham, Sporting Lisbon and Marseille. In Group E, we have AC Milan, Chelsea, Salzburg and Dynamo Zagreb. In Group F, we have Real Madrid, Leipzig, Shakhtar Donetsk and Celtic. Group G, we have City, Sevilla, Borussia Dortmund and Copenhagen. And Group H, we have PSG, Juventus, Benfica and Maccabi Haifa in Group H. So some really, really tasty draws there in this year's Champions League. Looking at Tottenham's group, I mean, Frankfurt, Sporting Lisbon and Marseille. It's a fantastic draw for Tottenham, and we have to say, when you look at who we could have potentially gotten in this draw, it would have to be a disaster for Tottenham not to get out of that draw, right?
Yeah.
Out of that group.
Yeah, I think now you see them all on paper. You can actually assess that actually we've been, I wouldn't say fortunate. I think there's still going to be difficult games, but I think we're fortunate to have that group out of some of the other ones that we could have had. I do expect us to be out of that group, in all honesty. I think Conte and the rest of the team will be pretty happy with that group. I think that in itself gives some encouragement and confidence as well, to be like, okay, yeah, every game is going to be difficult and we have to be on top of our game, but they'll probably see a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. Whereas obviously if we're in like something like Group C or maybe a couple of the other ones, maybe not so much. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I think, and in general for the fans, I think it's about experience, learning as a team in different styles of play that you're facing against. I think it's a really good pick that we've got.
All right, so if we're going to run through the Tottenham group that we have in terms of specifically, all right, well, okay. We're going to come back in a second. We're going to do an instant reaction to Spurs' Champions League draw. What is going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Tottenham have had their draw completed for the 22-23 Champions League season. And as our group stands, it is Eintracht Frankfurt, Sporting Lisbon and Marseille in Tottenham's group for the upcoming season of the Champions League. When it comes to group difficulty and in terms of who we could have faced, I mean, probably can't be happier with how the draw has gone from that aspect. If in terms of as well, we travelled to Germany, we travelled to Lisbon, Portugal and France, so some really good destinations to travel to as well if you're going out for these European ties. But talking about each club specifically, Eintracht Frankfurt, we'll start with them. They're obviously Europa League champions from last season, so clearly they beat the likes of Barcelona, they beat West Ham, and they obviously beat Rangers in the final on their way to lifting the trophies. They're clearly no mugs. However, they did lose Filip Kostic this summer. They did as well last season finish, I believe it was 9th in the Bundesliga table. So when you're looking at when in the pot one teams, Ajax, Porto, Bayern Munich, AC Milan, Madrid, Man City, PSG, I mean, you've got to say we've got away with one with drawing Frankfurt as well, the pot one team.
Yeah, I think so. I think they had a bit of a catch-22 last season because a couple of the players you just mentioned there were obviously their top players. And, you're trying to fight for a Champions League spot, which obviously they got through winning the Europa. But in that also aspect of winning it, you become a bit more in the shop window, as it were. And obviously those players have been snapped up. So now we're in a bit of a predicament, potentially, where they've managed to get themselves to the Champions League, but now have lost their key players, not really replaced them. I mean, there's an argument to say that they'll progress and get better as the season goes along, as they adapt. But yeah, I think it's probably a really good time for us to have this kind of team in our group moving forward.
And I mean, looking at how they've started this season's Bundesliga, they've played 3 games, drawn 2, lost 1, currently sitting 15th. So we might be catching Frankfurt a very good time. Obviously, winning Europa League, you got to say fair play to them, but ultimately they did finish mid-table in the Bundesliga, and they're currently struggling right now. So I mean, we've gotten very lucky with that pot 1 draw compared to a lot of the team. Not to say they don't have good players, and not to say that maybe they will by the time we play them have overcome a lot of their issues. But right now, they are definitely the team to face when it comes to being in those pot 1 teams. When it comes to the second team, Sporting Lisbon, they finished runners-up last season in the Portuguese league. They got absolutely battered by Man City in the round of 16, 5-0. Showing maybe how they do stack up when they face Premier League teams. Let me see how they've started this season as well, because they have lost their main player, Martin Nunes, this season, which is probably a big blow for them. He's obviously left and gone to Wolves. They did sign Ruben Vinagre from Wolves as well. They've signed, remember Trincao, he was at Wolves last season. He was a tricky winger. But they've lost Matthias Nunes. They've also lost João Palhinha to Fulham. He was one of their main midfielders last season. And Nuno Mendes has gone to PSG as well, the left back. So they as well have going through a period of potentially of transition, and they haven't exactly. They also started the season with 3 games, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 defeat. So a bit of an inconsistent start to the season. So again, when you're talking about difficult teams in pot 3, Sporting Lisbon probably got one of the easier ones, you have to say.
Yeah, again, like you say, similar to Frankfurt. I think there's a bit of a mixed bag of performances that they've had so far this season domestically, but I think, as well, the other factor of Champions League in any game of football, especially in Europe, is the factor of the fans, the stadium. Lisbon's not going to be an easy place for us to go to, and vice versa. They'll be up for coming to London and putting on a good show for their travelling fans. So this is the beauty of this kind of competition and what we're in, because it's not all about on paper, results. There's some other big fundamental factors that can put into play here. And Lisbon have been well known to be a tricky team. Yeah, of course, Man City smashed them. If you catch Man City on a good day, they will smash anyone. So you have to come with the right mentalities and the right preparation, which obviously they didn't do at that time. But that aside, like I said, I think Lisbon's a top team in Portugal. It always has been. And they've got maybe a couple of points to prove. But I do think you're right to say that they've lost a couple of those big players. And they're in a bit of a transition. So, yeah, it's a really interesting one for us, because we've got 2 teams there that perhaps a bit unsure about where they are right now as a club and as a team. There's
a former Tottenham player who currently plays for Sporting Lisbon. If I was to say there's currently an English winger who used to play for Tottenham who currently plays for Sporting Lisbon, would you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Marcus Edwards.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Marcus Edwards.
The future Messi.
Exactly. Maybe he's got a point to prove when he comes up against us, because he's actually been playing quite well.
Yeah, to be fair, jokes aside, he's been developing really well. Perhaps not just yet the levels that were maybe anticipated a few years ago, but he's making a mark out there. He's enjoying his football. That's the main thing for him. So obviously good luck as an academy player. We always want them to do well wherever they go, unless it's coming back to play us. That's the thing.
Okay, and then the next team we have is Olympique Marseille, who finished runners-up last season in Liga to PSG, big-time runners-up as well, because there was a big points gap. They actually got knocked out of their Europa League group last season and went to the Conference League, and then lost in the semi-finals of the Conference League to Rangers, I believe, although Dimitri Payet scoring one of the goals of the tournament. I remember he's obviously always going to be a massive player for them. He's now, I think, 30, 34 now. Dimitri Payet, obviously a massive threat. They have a few signings this summer. Alexis Sanchez on a free transfer. Nuno Tavares from Arsenal, the left back. They've signed him on loan. They have signed Cengiz Under from who was at Leicester last season, but he's actually from Roma. Jordan Vertu. They've made the signing of Matteo Guendouzi permanent as well this summer. Kevin Strootman. They've made. Not Kevin Strootman. He came back on loan, but they made as well quite a few signings this summer. Maybe in an attempt to try and push PSG, although that's unlikely. But runners-up in Liga, a team who failed to get out of their Europa League group last season, is that also a team where you're thinking nothing to be scared of in that sense?
I don't know. I think, like I said, they've got some really talented players in there, and I know that some of them are higher ages now. But that sometimes plays into teams' hands when you've got that kind of experience. And we know, like, player back in his West Ham days, like he's the type of player that would just do something out of nothing.
But he is 35 now.
Yeah, he is, but he still has 2 feet. And he still has the ability. It's all about that in the moment situation I always talk about. But I would say out of the 3 teams, that was probably our trickiest out of the batch. I'm still confident that we should be able to go and get results there. Maybe not so much away. I think that'll be a difficult, hostile atmosphere, like it always is in Marseille. But yeah, for sure, at home, I'd expect us to be winning that. But yeah, you can't rest on laurels. You have to be prepared for these games and expect any kind of madness or any crazy thing. We know what we're like with random set pieces or not controlling the game in the right manner, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere something gets blasted. Payet's got a big foot of his,
free kicks
can come from anywhere. Do you know what I mean? So we have to be on the ball from the first minute. It's all in our hands. I know that's a cliche thing to say, but it's all in our hands. Like, we have to start these games well, both home and away, and we will get ourselves through it. If we give them any opportunity, no matter what any of those teams are in our group, give them any opportunity, they'll take it. They'll be up for it.
When it comes to Antonio Conte, obviously we spoke during the draw about his record in the Champions League. Well, if he wanted a start to kind of start putting that right, he couldn't have asked for a better group, could he?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's about then the momentum, isn't it? It's like the snowball effect. Like, if we can proceed with the wins here, it's going to build the confidence. We're going to take that to potentially the Premier League as well, tiredness aside. And we'll get into those hopeful last 16, etc. with a lot of confidence and wins behind us.
And our group,
that's the dream.
You'd think of our squad, and even if we have to rotate a bit, you'd have to think our squad should be strong enough to get out of this group.
I think the key is taking the games majorly seriously to a point where you may be able to rest players. What I don't want to see is like we've done in perhaps previous seasons, where we're trying to do a balancing act because of the lack of depth or whatever it might be. I want us to go in there with the anticipation that we want to try and win this game immediately, or as soon as possible, get those 3 points. And then if we're spare with points, yeah, fine, rest some players. Whatever you need to do, give some academy run-outs, which would be absolutely brilliant experience for them. We must understand that as well. But yeah, I think it's about then momentum, taking that on to the last 16. But it's going to be tricky because those other groups have some extremely amazingly big teams in there, as they always do, of course. But yeah, we can't look that far ahead. We have to get ourselves through this batch first, of course.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be very interesting to see when the Champions League starts. I, for one, cannot wait. Actually, by my reckoning, we haven't played any of those teams before, have we? In Champions League or European football?
I can't remember any for sure.
Frank, definitely not in Champions League. We haven't played any of those teams.
No, I can't
I can't for the life of me remember playing any of these teams in the UEFA Cup in the recent history since Martin Yol days or anything like that. I don't think we've played any of these teams before, so that's quite an exciting thing to look forward to. Going to these different stadiums, and seeing what we can do there. And I'm very, very excited. I mean, as Champions League, look, let's be honest. If I gave you that group in the Europa League, you wouldn't have thought twice about it.
No,
that's the truth.
Right.
So you've got to say, as much as it's going to be difficult still, you couldn't have asked for
been
a
dealt
better
a good
group.
hand.
We've
That's
definitely been
for
dealt a good hand. So let's see how it all plays out then. It's going to be very exciting. The Champions League dates, I'll get the dates up for you guys. So match day 1 is on the 6th of September. Then a week later will be match day 2. Sorry, 2 weeks later is match day... a week later is match day 2. Then you got 2 weeks until match day 3. Then on 4th of October. Then 11th of October is match day 4. 25th of October is match day 5. And match day 6 of the 1st of November. So the whole group stage, remember last season, group stage is going to December.
Yeah.
The whole group stage is going to be over by the 2nd of November.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
So it's over very quickly. Obviously, with the World Cup
Yeah.
coming mid-November. It's all going to be
think
squeezed in.
I think it puts a lot more intensity into it. I like this compactness to it, and then you know where you stand as well when we come back from World Cup as a club. What we need to work on as the players do come back from international duty to get them prepared for an extremely big second half of next year in the season. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I don't know when we get information about home and away. Not that plays a massissive factor.
We have. Well, someone sent me a message claiming he knows when we play who, but I'm not sure if he claims that we play on week. He says game week 1 we play the team in pot 3 away first. That's what he claims. Who is that would be Lisbon away first. Yeah. Then we play Marseille at home week 2. Then we play. Frankfurt away week 3, then Frankfurt at home week 4, then Marseille away week 5, game week 5, and game week 6 we end it with Lisbon at home. That's what he claims. I don't know how accurate it is though.
We'll have to see. Match day 4 is my concern. I mean, I beat for my birthday.
Oh dearie me!
I was hoping it'd be an away game, but we'll have to see. Might be a ticket up for grabs.
In terms of looking at that group, Si, obviously it's very early. If we're going to make a prediction, how many points do you reckon Spurs are getting out of that group?
6.
6.
15.
15.
Yeah.
Five wins.
Yeah.
5 wins out of 6
Yeah.
games and 1 defeat. We have a loss in there.
Yeah, I think there's a defeat in there, but then I don't know. I might go actually 17.
17?
Yeah.
Can you even get 17 points? Can you get
I don't know. I probably added that completely.
Yeah, I'm trying to think
3
of the maths
teams,
there.
9 times 2, 18. Minus
No, you can't. No,
1
you have
point.
to get. You can only get 16 points. You can't get 17. How would you get 17 points?
Right,
No, it wouldn't work because if you win every game, you get 18 points, right? Right?
Yes.
But if you draw one of those games and
Oh,
win
of
the
course,
rest,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
16.
Yeah.
So you
I'll go
can't
with my
get
normal
17.
number then.
So 16 points or 15? Unbeaten. Are we
One
going
of
for
them.
unbeaten?
One of them.
I'm going with.
I'm too tired.
You're too tired. You're done for the day, so he's clocked off.
The balls took too long to come out.
I'm going with 14 points. I'm going with 4 wins and 2 draws.
Yeah. I feel
14
strong about
points.
it. Like I always have a calm head about it in the sense that these always going to be tricky games, but I'm anticipating with where we are as a team, with Conte there, with our home support and the away support, I feel like we could get some really high structured points on there.
All right. Well, that is our instant reaction to the Champions League draw, which obviously is a very favourable draw for Spurs. Now it is time for you guys to have your say. Obviously, unfortunately, Si is under time restrictions, so we can't go for too long, but we are going to get some callers on and we are going to get some fan opinions on the Champions League draw. The clock's already started. We're on the clock, guys. And first up, we are... who we got up first? We got Mikey.
Hey, Mikey.
Hey guys. Hey, how are you guys?
All right, let's get Mike. Is he on? No, I can't hear him.
Right here.
Can I hear him? 1 sec.
Can you hear me or not?
Hello? Is he on mute? Are you on mute, Mikey?
Maybe this is pulled out somewhere.
No.
Are you on mute? No, you can hear him? I can't hear him. 1 sec.
Is that supposed to go somewhere?
1 sec. been unplugged, I think. All right, bear with. What's going on here? That is supposed to get plugged in somewhere.
I'm not just a pretty face.
All right, Mikey.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I can hear you. How you doing, mate?
Understand.
I'm good.
I
How
can-
are you?
I can hear a bit of an echo though. Is there someone else in the background?
Nope, just me. Should be gone now.
All right, should be
All
good.
good.
Mikey, nice to see you. I feel
Yes.
like it's been a while.
It has been.
Right, the Champions League draw has been done. We have got Frankfurt, Sporting Lisbon, and Marseille in our group. Let me know your thoughts. I want to know what your thoughts are on this Champions League group.
So I'm very happy with. Sorry. I'm very happy with how that's gone because the last time we played in the UCL, our group stage, it was like we needed a last minute or like a close to last minute equalizer from Lucas just to get us through. And we played like Barca, Inter, I can't remember who else, but this time I'm not gonna say any draw is easy because it's the Champions League. No draw is an easy draw, but given the teams on, like we could have been in Group C, that could have been us, but we've avoided all of the powerhouses, shall we say, because out of pot one, you'd probably be hoping for what, Porto or Frankfurt, and we were given that. And as soon as we were drawn, I was just thinking, please, not Group C, please not Bayern, please not Bayern, and we've thankfully avoided them for now. I mean, yeah, it's a it could have been a lot worse. And a quick shout out to my girlfriend who's a PSG fan. We got Marseille in the group, so she'll be expecting a battering from us on Marseille, which I hope we can provide. But also just the general feeling of mine around the draw is one of positivity. You know, to celebrate, I even went out into North London and bought myself a couple of things from the Spurs shop today to treat myself after getting a nice paycheck yesterday. So, you know, I'm happy with how everything's going, and I'm ready to see just how far we can make it out of. I think we can make it out of that group. Obviously, it's one of those groups where all of the teams are around a similar level. You know, you haven't got any standout. Well, obviously Tottenham are the standout team because we're the best team in the world, but apart, you've got three teams of pretty equal standing. So in terms of anyone else who goes through, aside from us, I think it could be anyone. It could be Frankfurt, it could be Sporting, or it could be Marseille. So it's a very evenly matched group outside of us, and I'm very happy with how the draw's gone. And there's some brilliant matches to look out for, not just in our group. You know, PSG, Juve, you know, Man City versus Dortmund, a repeat. You know, it's Erling Haaland derby, and obviously Bayern Barca. So be a lot of good matches to look out for this group stage.
Yeah, Mikey, is there you know, we've drawn a lot of big teams in the past in the Champions League, and actually we tend to fare fairly well against the bigger teams a lot of the time in the Champions League when we're seen as the underdog. Is there any worry for you potentially that if we go into some of these games underestimating them? You know, sometimes we're better when we're taking when we're facing the bigger teams because we know we have to be on our game. Whereas sometimes when we face teams who aren't as well established, we might take our foot off the gas a bit.
Yeah, see, that is a worry of mine because I've seen us sort of take games for granted in the past, and in this draw I don't think we can, because there's going to be such a packed schedule, because all the games are going to be sort of week after week to accommodate for the random World Cup in the middle of it all. But you know, we're going to have to play these games pretty quick fire, and I think that'll 2 games a week every week in the run up to the biggest tournament in the world. It's, you know, that situation isn't ideal, but nor is it a bad one either. I think we've for the way this season especially is structured, with all of the games that are going to be played in the midwinter heat, I'm happy that we got a group of should we say lesser standards than a group like Group C or a group like Group H, where we're not going to have to we're not going to be under the cosh like a Bayern who are just going to be relentlessly attacking, or a Real Madrid who, they're a different beast in the UCL. So it's, even though we have beaten them in the past, but still, I'm happy with the draw. Frankfurt, not to be messed with. Sporting, haven't really watched enough of them, but I know Marseille on their day can be a quality team. So, but I'd say out of all of the teams, most people would put Tottenham, given the firepower we have and the general atmosphere surrounding the club. Top three predictions. Most people predict us to challenge for the title, not necessarily to win it, but at least put up a bit of a fight. So I think out of all of the teams in there, we are definitely the strongest one in there, even if we were in pot two. So I'm confident about us making it out of this group and keeping with our latest. I think we haven't gone out. We've been in the Champions League 4 or 5 seasons, so we haven't gone out in the group stage. I think maybe once. So
Yeah.
no, that was when we went into the Europa League and
Mm-hmm.
and we lost immediately to Genk, I think it was. So
Yeah.
yes, I think our Champions League record is quite good, but especially with this group, I'm happy. And again, we're going to batter Marseille more than once, hopefully. So yeah, that's sort of my view on it. I don't think it's going to be run of the mill. It never is with Tottenham, especially. But we have the squad rotation now. Richarlison will definitely be starting in at least one of those games. I expect even players like Jed Spence to feature. So it'll give us a good opportunity for squad rotation, as well as to put in a genuine good European showing for our first season back.
And Mikey, you raised a good point actually about like almost along the lines of intensity requirement. Obviously, these are potentially difficult teams still, but with that in mind, of course, like in my mind, I feel like we don't have to have the major intensity that we might have had with some of the stronger teams, right? And as the course of the season goes on, and this big World Cup stuck in the middle of it, which could have a big variable to people, players' fitnesses and things anyway. But with that aspect of maybe being able to save some potential energy as we go into these group stages over particularly the November period, and then we got the World Cup. Do you see Tottenham being able to be in a really strong, fit, physical condition come maybe January to be able to take us to the longer term Champions League group stages in terms of like the knockouts and things like this? Where do you see Tottenham maybe ending up this coming campaign?
So I do see us making it out of the group, be that as group leaders or runners up. I do see us making it out of the group. Obviously, we don't know I don't know what the pathways are. I don't think we find that out until a lot later on. Again, it all depends on luck of the draw for the round of 16, especially because you could still get, you could have a surprise package like let's say, I don't know, let's say Celtic make it out of their group ahead of Leipzig, and you face them in the round of 16. So it all depends on luck of the draw as usual. But if I always say this, if Tottenham are in the Champions League, I always expect us to make it to the quarterfinals. I always think quarterfinals is Tottenham's. If we make it past, then that's an overachievement, and if we go out in the round of 16, I think it's an underachievement. I think that quarterfinals are always sort of the point that Tottenham should look to progress to at least in the Champions League, given our history of making it past. But I'm also quite wary of the World Cup, because how injury prone some of our players are, especially our sort of Harry Kane's, who, if he does play every game, he will play every game for England at the World Cup, because he is the talisman for both club and country. So he will start every game when he's fit. And I think that poses a bit of a problem. Even like Richarlison is a quality understudy, but again, he is not Harry Kane. We are not going to kid ourselves. He is not Harry Kane. And I think while Richarlison is a great player to have to deputise in a Premier League weekend, if you're going to be going up against a Real Madrid or a PSG of this world, the difference, the quality that Harry Kane can bring, if he does get injured, the quality that you lose there is probably takes away from your ability to then progress past the huge teams like Bayern or Real. So I think the the squad conditioning that we have, it needs to be pretty good. And for our Champions League, because we just need to pray to get lucky with injuries at the World Cup, because we have quite a sizable chunk of our squad heading away. You know, Romero, Lloris, Davis, maybe not Eric Dyer, but, you know, Perisic, Højbjerg, Kane, Son. Did Sweden make it? I don't know if Sweden made it or not, but, you know, that is a huge chunk of our starting 11 moving into the World Cup. And come January, our fitness levels are going to be tested inevitably, because they're not going to get a mid-season break. The Premier League scrapped the mid-season break this season or last season, and so with the World Cup,
it's going to be very, very intense this season. But look, Mikey, it's good to see you, mate. Nice, nice who's calling. No, it's fine. Absolutely fine. We're just, you know, every caller has allotted time, and your time is up.
Well, what is the match previews tomorrow? So I'll try and get myself on for the Nottingham Forest. Oh yeah, and I'm also pretty happy with our Carabao Cup draw. I don't know if you ever addressed
Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest away.
Pretty good.
So we'll see how this weekend's game goes as a sort of prelude to that. But anyway, and enjoy the next caller.
Nice one, Mikey.
Thanks,
nice
Mikey.
to see you, mate. You have a good one. Some interesting potential news coming out of Lisbon, though, which might change the way you look at the draw, is that apparently they're about to sign Cristiano Ronaldo.
Who?
Lisbon.
Who said?
Cristiano's waiting for the draw.
There's a lot of rumours flying around.
If he wanted to go there,
he could be set to sign for Lisbon, who are obviously playing in Champions League. Returning home. He gets a chance to increase his Champions League record. If he does complete that move, would that change your outlook on how you see that group?
No, not majorly. I think it will have an impact, the excitement of his team. But I remember even when we played Real Madrid at Wembley, he went missing quite a lot. And he is at the end of his career. He's still a fantastic player, and you would want him in your team if you could. But yeah, I'm not really majorly phased. I mean, what one player out of the team that they have, I'm not too worried. But it's quite ironic, actually, from my perspective, because I think the last time I saw Spurs Lisbon was in a friendly in a summer when I was about 14, 15. And Ronaldo wasn't present in that game, and he had actually just signed for United that day. So it'd be quite interesting to be at this fixture if he is there, and actually get to see him in a Lisbon shirt for once. It's been a long time coming. So
yeah, it would be interesting if he was to come up against us in the Champions League in playing for Sporting Lisbon. That will be very, very interesting. Let's talk to KPV.
Oh, hello.
It's me.
Hey.
It's KPV in the Champions League. How are we doing, KPV?
I'm good.
Great to see you, mate. Look, we've got Frankfurt, Lisbon, and Marseille in our group. How are you feeling about the draw?
I'm feeling quite confident, let's say, because Frankfurt, they just won the Europa League, but, like, we've not played them, I don't think, have we?
Never, I don't think. Not to my knowledge. I don't remember ever playing them.
Like, but, yeah, I'm happy that we got them, and the good news is it's the Eric Dyer derby against Sporting Lisbon, the team we signed him from.
Yeah, very good point.
Damn right about that. I'm sure he'll have some friends he would like to see when we play Lisbon.
And, yeah, so, but it doesn't count as a homegrown for us, though, because I believe he was born in Portugal.
Are you worried about Marcus Edwards, Kyle?
Why? Who's he playing for?
He plays for Lisbon.
No, I'm not worried about him. Like, he's Tottenham through and through. Like, I miss the guy, but if he was still playing for us, he would have scored some goals against the field. Like, he already has done. He already has done for Victoria, whoever you want to call them. But, yeah, but I'm not worried about him. But I think we give him a good reception when we played him. Like, yeah, like, I'm definitely going to Lisbon. You're not going alone, Ben. Tim, you're not going alone.
Is that right? You're gonna be flying out?
Yeah, mate, because you're not going alone.
Damn right.
I'm excited, but yeah, I believe our first game's in September, just a couple of weeks after the Fulham game. Am I right?
What? How many points do you reckon we're gonna get, Kyle?
I think, what, is it 12, 15? How many? 13, 14, I think. Yeah.
14.
Yeah, and we're going to win all
Don't get it
those
wrong like I
games.
did. Sim will have a go at you. He's
Yeah,
too
exactly.
fast.
You better get your maths right, Kyle.
Boy, calm down. Calm down.
I
No
came up
need
with a
to-
number that didn't equate at all, did it? Yeah.
Oh, when was that?
Just before.
Yeah.
Don't you
Yeah.
worry
Ooh,
about it. Don't you worry about it, Kyle.
interesting. Don't you worry about that, my friend.
And
Because
Carl, when we come up against Marseille, they're going to have Tavares, they're going to have Guendouzi, they're going to have Kolasinac. It's a team full of dirty gooners.
oh well, like yeah, they're going to lose anyway. Marseille, because they've already beaten Chelsea before, and that was 2010. So Marseille and the Dirty Gunners are getting destroyed. Just no blood, just no.
Damn right, Kyle.
Damn right, my man.
And we're qualifying. We're definitely going to qualify.
Of course, like we'll win the group, like we have. We've won the group before. That was against Dortmund. Like, why not win a group
Why not?
and then go all the way? Like, I want to win it, man. I'm tired of everyone winding us up like not winning it. Like, this is our time. Danny wants it. Brian Daigle wants it. Everyone wants it. The fans. So, shout out to all the Spurs fans who are going to those games, and be careful, don't drink too much, because otherwise you're going to get in trouble by me, boys. So, big
last-
up everyone, and I'll see you
I can't let
tomorrow.
you go yet. I was going to ask you one last question.
All right.
What do you think we can, with the squad depth that we've got? Obviously, there's some big teams out there still. If we do get through qualifying and everything like this, do you think we could go all the way and get this?
Yeah,
Right
of
now,
course.
it's very early, but do you think we can do it?
Yeah, I think we can. Like, Kulisevsky, he's played in it already. That was with Juventus, who beat Chelsea last year, so why not? Like, yeah, I think we can, but as you said, it's too early. But yeah, we got those games to focus on, then the next round, then the final. But the final was in Istanbul since 2005. But yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
Kyle,
Let's go.
lovely to see you, mate.
Love the
Have a
confidence.
nice, safe trip wherever you're going. I can see you're in the car.
Drive safe.
Drive safe or have a safe trip. And we'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, see you in a bit, my friend. Come on,
Nice
you
one.
Spurs.
Come on.
Come on.
Spurs.
Nice one. Come on.
There was KPV giving his all things opinions on Tottenham. All right, let's go to Victoria, I believe, and let's get my brother on the channel.
There he is.
Come on.
How we doing? What you got on your
What's
hand
going on,
there?
guys?
What are you drinking
It's
there?
actually a passion. It's not a Malibu, Si, I'm sorry, but it's
No,
a passion fruit martini.
disappointing.
Where are you?
He's celebrating the draw.
I'm here. I'm at Victoria, All Points East Festival.
Nice.
All points
Very
east,
nice.
but all points point to a Tottenham qualification. That's the question, Ben.
I think this is probably the easiest. I wouldn't say the easiest. That's a bit disrespectful, but the best Champions League draw we've had in the group stages since qualifying.
I think we've had harder Europa League draws. I think.
Literally, literally. But I think in terms of Frankfurt, Marseille, and who was the other team we got?
Lisbon.
Frankfurt, Marseille, Lisbon. You've got to say, you've got to be very happy with that draw. When you're looking at some of the ties in the Champions League, and I think Barcelona, Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, I mean, what a group that is. But I think you've got to be very happy with the draw. Very happy. 3 nice trips as well.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. We haven't played any of these teams, especially not in Champions League, but maybe not in Europa League as well. I don't remember playing any of these teams before.
We've played them, but not for a very long time, like before our time, you know. Like
Yeah,
we've played
before our
Frankfurt,
time.
we've
Not
played
since
Marseille,
Martin
but-
Yolgos in Europe.
No, we haven't played any of these teams since then.
So that's going to be exciting to see what we can get. In terms of the teams individually, Frankfurt, they are Europa League winners, but does that maybe cloud the fact that they did finish mid-table in Bundesliga last season? They've sold Kostic this season as well. So what kind of Frankfurt do you think we're going to be facing?
Yeah, you're also talking about a Frankfurt that doesn't have Kostic anymore, and I think they've sold
Yeah.
another player as well, a big player for them for next season. So Yeah, I think it's very different Frankfurt to what we saw last season. They've already started the season this year poorly as well in the Bundesliga. So I'm really happy with that draw. I think Frankfurt as well, nice German beer. I think it's going to be good fun. Good fun, all three of these trips. And Frankfurt definitely going to be an easier prospect than they were last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. When it comes to Lisbon, there is rumours about a potential return for Ronaldo circulating today. Even some reports suggesting it's 99% done, but I wouldn't go that far yet. But if Ronaldo does go back to Lisbon with his record in the Champions League, is that something to be worried about?
Wouldn't it be great to knock Cristiano Ronaldo out the Champions League, eh?
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Straight in there. No messing about with this man.
No, but I think obviously it's something to think about. But even with Cristiano Ronaldo going there, we got to be beating them. We have to be beating them. We're a much better team with Ronaldo or without Ronaldo. So come on, like all three of these games, we should be topping this group. And if we don't, then we should be worried about our efforts because we got to be topping this group.
Yeah, Marseille Conference League semi-finalists last season. 35-year-old Dimitri Payet as well. But the most important thing is they got a lot of ex-Arsenal players in their team. They got Guendouzi, they got Kolasinac, they got Nuno Tavares. So they'll probably
music to my ears. Music to my ears. And what a hostile reception they're going to get at White Hart Lane as well. It's
Very
going to
true.
be brilliant. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. And also, what you've got to think about is Milik has gone, and he was a big part of their run.
He got 20 goals in all competitions last season.
Yeah, and he was important in that European run as well.
Yeah, and he's just signed for Juventus this summer, so he's not going to be there. Prediction time, Ben. How many points are we getting?
Ooh, how many points?
18 to play for, if you haven't done your maths.
Don't say 17 like I did.
I was just about to say 17.
That's not how maths works. You can't get 17 points.
I was adamant in my head that 17 was definitely plausible, but apparently not.
You can't. It's impossible to get 17 points.
14. I think 14.
Nice. That's what I said. 14. That's 4 wins and 2 draws.
Yeah, exactly.
4 wins and 2 draws. All right. We'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of the festival. Drink the night away, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys. See you tomorrow.
See you later, mate.
Nice one.
Bye.
All right. Ben is enjoying some time at a festival while we're here slugging it away in the studio.
Rustling balls on the table.
Exactly. It's another draw. You want another draw? We can do another draw for you guys if you want. Don't know what we'll draw, but do something. Who we got next? Chris. We'll get Chris on. Hey, Chris, how are we doing?
Doing good. Really happy with the draw.
Yeah, I think most Spurs fans are as well. Do you think it's fair to say that we've had harder Europa League draws?
Yeah, we have had harder Europa League draws before.
Yeah.
I mean, this draw is pretty... I wouldn't say that it's really an easy one, but we have avoided like the worst it could have gotten. Because these teams also can create upset. I mean, Eintracht Frankfurt, they are the winners of Europa League right now. But I think after that, they have sold a lot of players. So currently, they are the better opponent that you could have hoped, other than all the other options that were in the pot one. And then you got Marseille is one of those teams that I'm just worried that they can be a little bit tricky. Not too worried about starting. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Marseille, out of the 3 that we got picked out, I think they are probably the most difficult out of that group. But yeah, I think you're right. I think over the overall stage, we should be seeing, as Ben said just a minute ago, I see us topping this group and should be comfortably. Do you agree with that as well? Do you think that that's where we should be starting ourselves based on what we've got ahead of us?
Well, definitely we'll be qualifying for the knockouts. Topping this group, we should top this group. I mean, the kind of draw we have, we should be topping this group. But definitely, I mean, it's Champions League. Anything can happen, and then you're playing 2 games a week, and that sort of thing. So anything can happen. And if we qualify to the knockouts, I mean, I'll take that as a good result as well. But we should be topping this group as you just mentioned, because it's an easy group. I mean, we shouldn't be dropping points here and there. I hope I'm glad that we are not playing the European giants NS Mura.
Exactly, because we've definitely struggled against him before. In terms of Antonio Conte, he's notoriously got a fairly poor record in the Champions League, doesn't he? He's I know in Inter Milan he failed to get out the groups one year. He hasn't gone past the quarterfinal before in the Champions League. But do you think in terms of that kind of draw, it couldn't have gone any better for him, and maybe he can actually hope to improve on his record this season?
Well, for Conte, I think I'm not too sure for the other teams. I think for some of the seasons he was playing with the teams where they were actually in Europa. I think the only time was like with Milan, even with Chelsea, when they managed to qualify for Champions League. He was kind of sacked later on, so he hasn't like given that much of time in the Champions League. Uh, I think the victory in Champions League and going forward with the Champions League, the coach must be ambitious about that. You can't just be focusing on just one thing. And Conte seemed to be doing that sort of thing with the previous teams, that he would be focusing on like one title. He's more of like a league winner, the domestic league winner, as we all know, with Chelsea, with Milan. Now with us, I think he has formed that sort of relationship with the club where he wants to take the club overall to the greatest heights. It's not just in winning trophies. And knowing Conte, I think definitely he's an ambitious guy. He wants to win out there in the Champions League, given that yes, he has never won Champions League before. In fact, Champions League is one of those trophies that is still missing from his cabinet as a manager. So, if yes, he has his heart at Tottenham, I think I'll say that yes, he would be willing to give his best, and yeah, we can do much better under him, and definitely looking forward to it. I'm glad actually that given that we have Conte, we have meant to avoid an Italian club in our group because his tactics are very predictable if you have an Italian club in your group.
Very true.
Yeah, definitely. And Chris, what's your prediction then? How many points are we getting in this group?
I won't say 17.
You better not.
I'll say about 16. 16 is doable, right?
16.
Yeah, 16.
You can
I
do
think
16.
Yeah, we can do 16, I guess. We may have a draw away with Marseille, but I don't see any of the other games we should be dropping points. Sporting maybe, but I don't think we should be dropping points in any of the other games. And I'm just wondering, I was just talking to someone that even if Cristiano goes to Sporting, he won't be eligible to play for them until January. Is it true? I'm not too sure.
If Ronaldo goes to Sporting, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true, to be honest. Might be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
So,
sure.
yeah, so I don't know
No,
what
I don't see why. I don't see why he wouldn't
Yeah,
be.
because I think whenever they register the players, I would assume that's when you're kind of
No,
locked
you can
in.
make a
I'm not
transfer
sure.
now because he hasn't played any European football.
No.
So I don't see why he would only be eligible in January for me
Yeah.
now. Doesn't make
So-
sense.
We'll have
to
to
me.
look into that.
Yeah, so really not sure about that. Somebody was sharing with me. But even though I think
Okay.
if Ronaldo is there, he may score a goal against us or something, but I don't see us dropping points there. I mean, Portuguese clubs and all that. And we seem to be doing well against that type of tactics that the Portuguese clubs really play, the Portuguese coaches, people like Nuno and all that. Yeah, shitty tactics. I really hate those. But I do see us gaining points there. Yeah.
All right, Krish, great to see you, mate. Thanks for joining the stream,
guys.
and we'll see you very
Thank
soon.
you.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. All right. Are there any more callers? Is someone else joining? I think there is someone joining. Conscious of time, though. We'll get someone else on in a sec. Bear with. All right.
Enter the affray.
Who do we have here? We have Ivan. Let's get Ivan on. Ivan, how are we doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, doing well, especially after the draw that we just got. I'm sort of happy that we got Marseille, which I'm sort of calling Arsenal B, with all the Arsenal. You got Guendouzi, Tavares, you got Sanchez.
Ivan, do you reckon that adds to the occasion and the atmosphere with that going on?
Definitely will. You know that even though they don't play for Arsenal anymore, and you know that Guendouzi and Kolasinac left on bad terms with Arsenal in a way, you know that they'll want to stick it up to Tottenham. So I think it definitely adds to that occasion, and especially Sanchez as well. You know that you got pretty much nearly half the squad playing for that were in Arsenal playing for Marseille now.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. In terms of the group in general, are we at risk of underestimating the opposition, or do you think it's just you have to be realistic and we couldn't have got a much easier draw?
I feel like we just have to be realistic. Looking at some of the other teams that we could have got, I definitely feel like we got a good draw. There were definitely harder, teams we could have gotten, especially in that third pot, getting Sporting Lisbon. Even though they did finish second, I think, to Porto, they're still a good team, but one of the best teams that we could have faced in that pot. And then also Marseille. Myself, I would have rather got Maccabi Haifa. Maybe you guys would have got stuck in Israel again and spent another extra few days there. Definitely enjoy that we got Marseille.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think there's obviously some big groups that we wanted to avoid, and I think we've done it well. As I say, we've done a good job. It's whoever's picked them out, obviously. But in your mind, there's obviously a lot that's going to happen between now and January. But on the assumption that we were to progress, I think we'll progress anyway. But if we get to the top of the group and everything, and I think we should do that. With the squad that we've got at the moment, how far do you think that we could go? Obviously, it depends on the certain opposition that we might face in the future, of course. But I always believe, and I said this earlier in the show, is about being in the moment and taking these very differently to perhaps other fixtures that you would anticipate in the short term. Do you think that Tottenham's in a position, albeit that we've got new players in, we've got obviously Conte's been there for 7 or 8 months now, putting his stamp on things. We've got experienced players that have been to the Champions League final, let alone Champions League games for however many seasons now. Do you think Spurs could go as far as a final? Could they take it beyond that and win something, especially with a manager like Conte, irrespective of what Sim says about his record with the Champions League? Where do you think Tottenham could go with this year?
Honestly, I feel like we could get to the final, but the first thing I want us to go up against a team, actually get a litmus test, because that game against Chelsea, we had preseason, those last couple of games apart from Arsenal, which is a derby, which is quite different. We haven't come up, quite against a strong opposition with a team that Conte is happy with. I want us to, once we get those games against one of those big six teams, including that October 1st fixture against Arsenal. I'm pretty sure we have another strong fixture. I can't remember the fixture lists on top of my head, but I'm pretty sure we got somebody else from the top six. Getting a good result against them will put us in good stead for the Champions League, because at the moment we have been beating teams that we should be beating, but definitely want us to prove that against some of the bigger, and then that will mean that I'll feel more confident heading to the fight, as saying we should be heading to the final.
Of course. I've got a question for both of you, actually, probably in the anticipation of the aspect of how far we can go. Do you see maybe this is a development in the transfer window that we've got remaining? Now we've seen the teams that we're playing. I don't know the psychology behind clubs, boards, and things like this when they see fixtures or groups being dealt by like this. Could this have a hand in maybe bringing extra players? And I know we're trying to sell some players in, but do you think this has a bit of a hand in the transfer market to be actually, this has given us a really big opportunity, some extra revenue if we get through to this group stage, because obviously that's how we can make big money in the Champions League. But do you think it plays a part in that to also start bringing some extra players in? Because then some players might be coming and go, actually, we might go, this club might go a bit further in the Champions League than it might have done if we got Group C, for example. Do you think that has any play on that at all?
I'm going to you, Ivan, first.
honestly, I feel like with the type of opposition we've got, I feel like that Conte and the board may actually be confident with the players that we've got right now. You know, I'm pretty sure if we would have got into that dreaded Group C, you know, with with Inter and with Bayern Munich, they would, you know, I'm pretty sure Conte would be screaming at the board, being like, "You can see who we're going up against. Like, you know, do you really think that, you know, that Emerson Royale or Doherty or somebody in our central midfield would be able to go up against, you know, Alphonso Davies or against Pavard or some of those players?" So I feel like if we get through to the quarterfinals and this, you know, and all that, then in January, I feel like it might be more of a, you know, a way to be like, hey, look where I've gotten us now. Through the group stages, you've seen where we are lacking. Now let's go get those positions that we're lacking in. So I feel like it's sort of taken some of the edge off given the lighter opposition that we ended up getting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much of an impact it'll have on transfers, to be honest. I think the fact that we've got an easier draw than expected, I don't see a player deciding or not deciding to join a club based on that, in my opinion. So it shouldn't have too much of an effect.
I guess it's more a point about depth. There's maybe a psychological impact where we've got this group now that they can go, actually, we want to side this. But then there's also an argument that sometimes Daniel Levy goes, oh, actually, maybe we don't need to put some extra players in there. I think we'll get through this company and we'll worry about it in January. But it remains to be seen. But I do think maybe some potential players out there that were maybe wondering how far we could get, because the best players that come to it will obviously want to go as far as possible. Maybe there's a small impact. Maybe I'm overthinking. Who knows? But
maybe
it's good.
Maybe it's possible. But Ivan, it's time to get your calculator out and make a prediction. How many points are we getting in this group?
Is 18 the max that we can get?
Correct.
I think I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with 16. You know,
16. One draw. 5 wins in the draw. Where's that draw coming?
Marseille away.
Marseille away.
Yeah, if you've ever watched Champions League nights in the past with Marseille, you know, those fans are pretty crazy. Down there.
I've watched some Liga nights where they are insane. They charge the pitch, they chuck flares, they attack the players. They're crazy sometimes, the Marseille fans. Yeah.
And you can sort of see, you know, especially when we went to Rennes last year as well, how crazy those French fans are. So that sort of shows you, and that's where I think we will sort of like face our biggest test. You know, I feel like with Frankfurt losing Kostic, you know, and you've seen their form so far in the Bundesliga. They're not the same team they were last year. They're missing a couple of key players, and I just feel like last season was their season to just win it, and they did end up winning that league, which got them to the Champions League, and I feel like they're going to take a bit of a drop this year.
All right, Ivan, thanks for calling in, mate. Much appreciated. And we'll see you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
No worries. All right, is there any more... No more calls. All right, I think that concludes today's show then. That is your Champions League draw brought to you by We Are Tottenham TV. Thank you, Sai, for coming all the way down from Portsmouth and joining me today.
Thank you.
Hopefully you got the draw that you wanted when coming down here.
Brilliant.
Yeah, couldn't have asked much better.
I'm not going to say the word easy at all, but I couldn't have asked for a better group out of the ones that we could have had. For sure.
Although I was reading a tweet claiming that we got the easiest draw from pot 1, but we actually got one of the harder ones from 3 and 4, they say.
Yeah.
So maybe it's more difficult than we anticipate.
Yeah.
But we shall see. We will be with you every step of the way for this Shamsi journey as we go around Europe to see how Tottenham fare. But for now, that is it until September the 5th, where the Champions League does get underway at the top. Well, I'm not sure where, but it does get underway at one of the clubs. So just a reminder, we are playing Frankfurt, Lisbon, and Marseille in our Champions League group, in Group D. But thank you, everyone, for joining us for the Champions League draw. And thank you all the callers for calling in. And thank you for all the likes and super chats for everyone that's been contributing to the show. see you all guys tomorrow for all the preview content for the Nottingham Forest game on Sunday. We'll see you all then. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.
Awesome.